Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me again here today on another video, live stream, experience, moment, time, in space and time. I've been thinking a lot about something that someone said yesterday. Maybe it was the day before yesterday, where they mentioned they wish they could take the energy that we share in these streams and bottle it up and take it with them. And I was thinking it myself, and Insane said it as well, that you can see your phone in a way, like this bottle, if you will, for the energy that is we bring. For so long in our history, for so long as humanity, like sharing spaces like this, sharing conversations like this, was kind of lost, if you will. It kind of went back to the ether. Now we actually get to record these things. We get to immortalize these experiences for more friends to find them later. First aid. How long has it been, my friend? It's been a while. Thank you for joining us again. How's life been treating you? Yader, thank you so much for joining me as well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yesterday, I was tired. Today, I'm lethargic. I did end up eating this morning. I actually tried to do a Reddit in the kitchen stream, if you will. It was a lot of fun, but it did drop like 4 times as well, so mildly discouraging. It was a lot of fun though. About one missed stream, about one missed stream. I'm guessing you meant first aid. Have you only missed one? Maybe I just haven't seen your comments or something. Thank you, friend, for joining me here again. This one is a little bit esoteric, so I'll read the next one. Observe where your attention is. Let it settle deeper to the heart. So this can be interpreted in more than one way, of course. Like observing where your attention is, first and foremost, what it is you're focusing on, what it is you're feeling, what is it you're believing, what it is you're repeating in yourself over and over again. But the heart, at least to me now, the context of how that word is used, the heart, isn't necessarily taking your focus from whatever it is your problem is and then taking it actually down to your physical heart, but more as a representation, an understanding of what the all heart is. That single source of radiant love. Let it settle deeper to the heart. That, to kind of take yourself out of your perceived notion of what it is you feel your attention is focused on and move it back to that place of all-encompassing love and unity, oneness. Or it can be just focus on your heart. Literally just listen to the doof, doof, doof of your heart, and that can be pretty calming as well. Yader is here. Slag, it's been a while, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I am lethargic today too. There we go. Maybe we were supposed to be a little bit lethargic, Yader. Be even more calm. Lisa's here. Good afternoon. How's your day been going? Hey, Yader, I'm Health Fam. My day's been well, friend. Helped my mom with some stuff. Cooked myself a very delicious breakfast. And like directly after eating, I got like washed with this wave of probably just insulin. I'm guessing it's just insulin that I got kicked with. And the insulin was like, okay, dude, looks like you're going sideways. After helping my mom with her stuff, I was like, okay. Got myself like a little bit of a nap. Got up from it, had again some, like, it's weird how naps, specifically naps, can have almost more dream content slash weird dream content than a whole night's worth of sleep. And every single time I wake up from these midday naps, they leave me feeling some kind of way. And then I usually come here and we just talk. The energy carries on constantly. Good morning. I'm finally awake for this a vampire life. I know the feel. I know the feel. I had to, over thousands of years, build up tolerance to the sun. Now I can sit directly in its beams without being scorched. Cheeky poetry is Olive. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. How have you been? How have you been? I saw your work of art. Goodness. To you friends who are curious, in the share your work tab in the Discord, cheeky poetry, or as we now know her, Olive, shared some of her work, and it's just really fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us, my friend, and thank you for the heartwarming on B. On B, did your stream drop? I feel it might have dropped, but thank you for being here with me because I was like, as I was setting up to go live myself, like I just clicked the main RPAN button and it opened me up to your stream, and then suddenly it stopped, and I was like, okay, that's weird. I went out of the app, went back into the app, and then there was a newborn kitten on the the top spot, and I was like, where Aunt B? I wanted to say love you before I actually go live, but thank you for being here with me now, my friend. I appreciate your presence so much. Lane is here as well. Hey Lane, how you doing, my dude? Lane, good morning. What time is it there? It is 11 minutes past 4 right now, my friend. My stream just dropped. Hoping melt stay hoping melts stay going. I was talking to 6,000 friends, then boom, dropped. Yeah, it happened to me yesterday as well on B. Like, also, completely front page, and then doop, it drops. And then we go live again, go front page, doop, drops. Go live again, go front page, doop, drops. I'm just like, Reddit. Reddit, why? Why are you maybe like this, Reddit? I mean, I feel it's like been extra unstable the last week. Like I'm feeling weirdly enough slightly responsible because yesterday I jokingly talked about it and then we proceeded to like have the stream dropped. Like since I talked about it, I've had I think 9 different streams, maybe 8 different streams with them dropping and me restarting them. Uh, so the fast is broken. Such a crazy feeling. It really is. Like it was such a good experience as well. Like fasting plus exercise really forced my body to recondition itself. Like I lost weight in all of the areas that I wanted to lose weight. I have flat sides again, at least kind of flat sides. Now I just have to continue exercising and taking my diet into consideration. The stream always helps battle lethargy. I'm happy you feel that way, my friend. Thank you for helping me battle my lethargy as well. Hello, Mel, my friends. Hey, Mammy. Thank you for joining us. I'm peacefully falling back to sleep to you many times accidentally. I saw Kiki knock your pot over yesterday. Little rascal trying to cuddle. Yeah, you know, she's actually behind me. I wonder if you can see her. She's chewing on a bone or something. Yeah, just like yeets onto my lap. Weed goes everywhere. I'm like, no, Kiki. I put her down. I'm trying to fix this. She jumps back on my lap. Even more of it gets spilled. I'm like, Kiki, please, please. She's a little riot. Oh, okay. I had a dream last night that I was moving. I woke up feeling like I loaded a U-Haul all night. Like actually sore body kind of vibes. I'm curious about that actually because there are some theories, in Einstein, and I think Nikola Tesla did it himself as well, where they would go into lucid dream states and they would solve problems in those lucid dream states. And they've done studies on people as well, where they had them like practice putting a ball through a hoop, have one group not practice putting the ball through the hoop, and then have one group not practice physically, but practice with their imaginations, throwing the ball through the loop. And the group that physically practiced and the group that practiced in their heads saw similar improvements versus the group that didn't practice at all. So with that being said, I feel like I can kind of extrapolate out that in a dream state, the things that you kind of go through, like for instance, our friend Olive dreamt that she was loading a U-Haul. I think it can quite literally tax your body. Like if you believe so realistically and so first personally, right? Like it's so, oh yeah, this is my environment. I'm working, working, working. You would be able to mentally fatigue yourself, and that could kind of fatigue your body as well. I'm curious about stuff like that, and I'm curious about stuff like that more because of like itching slash pins and needles slash I'm not exactly sure how to call like say it, but I want to say static the real experience of your body. Like for me, for example, if I raise my arm up and I keep it like that, there's like a vein that gets like pinched here or something. So like after a few seconds of doing that, I'll feel this bzzz in my arm, and it's like this very weird sensation of like you can't explain it, right? And like what I'm curious about is how much of that information you're receiving is actually coming from your arm itself, and how much of it is your body basically extrapolating maybe broken data or bad information. And then to wrap this thought up, if you will, the thing that is the most surreal to me is if you do breath work exercises. Like some of you friends who have done the Wim Hof the Wim Hof breath work exercises, you'll know that if you're going through like your third or fourth loop, it literally feels like the very essence of your being, the molecules that makes up you, wants to rip themselves apart. Like your entire nervous system feels kind of on fire slash staticky. There's this very real sense of vibration happening on your body. And I don't know, and I wonder, and I genuinely, I haven't been able to find any information on it as well. I wonder how much of it is my body sending these like extreme vibratory, uh, like feels like I'm going to disintegrate signals to my brain, or is it my brain sending these signals to my muscles, and then the muscles basically being stimulated by these signals, and then that's what I'm feeling. Like I wonder what the connection is there. Aunt B, you were at the height of nearly 5 years, I think. Yeah, she was. Her late is inspiring, but very relaxing in my time zone. I'm so happy to hear that slag. Like, I feel like I'm relaxing myself right now with the way I'm talking. First date. Yo, so you did like the memes I send? Oh, yeah, sure, friend. I mean, I've seen most of them. Some of them were a bit dank, but I appreciated them, Fred. Thank you. Green guy, thank you for the silver. I appreciate that. I even called your cute little goats, Aunt B. I want a baby goat. Yeah, one day old baby goats. I would like to steal one. Aunt B actually showed us this morning. They were absolutely beautiful. When Kiki was being a stoute kabouter. Hello, like, are you Afrikaans, my friend? How do you know the word stoute kabouter? Because stoute kabouter is very much something that we would say, like especially to children. As yeah, stoute kabouter. Like stoute kabouter means naughty dwarf. I catch the farm sunsets. They're like absolutely breathtaking on Haywire Hill. Ding ding ding, friend. Oh, you're getting cold, Kira. Thank you for the Ally Award, Nelson. I appreciate you, my brother, and for the energy you're giving me as well. Whew, I appreciate that. You broke your fast. I did. I did, Mammy. Fast has been broken. I feel like today is going to be a little bit of an off day, if you will. As my body starts to reincorporate sustenance into my being. But I am very happy with the fact that I have now completely switched my body over to the burning of ketones. As soon as your body starts burning ketones, it really kind of likes doing that. Quite literally, if you want to burn fat efficiently, you have to manufacture the machinery to do so. It's like your body gets so used to burning carbohydrates as its main fuel source that it doesn't know how to burn fat anymore. Like I'm sitting on a spot where the sun is like just beaming on my face right now. Like there's a big old circle of light that I'm happen to be sitting in. Ah! You know what? Do I want to accept it? Do I want to do something about it? I feel like I'm getting the message. Be calm. So I'm gonna do that. Nelson is here too. Oh yes, he is. Thank you for joining us, Nelson, my brother. Mm, I feel like you are a very charismatic person. Thank you. I appreciate your feeling, my friend. I guess I don't know about all of that. What is charisma supposed to be? Like how do you define charisma? Genuinely. Is it being able to articulate in a way that people want to listen to you? Is it something that has to do about like with being attractive? Does it have something to do with your voice or the way you sound? Charisma, being charismatic. I think all of us have the capacity to be so. At least be divine in our own ways. Are white farmers being killed in South Africa? Yes, friend. Unfortunately, there are white farmers being killed in South Africa. Hello to you as well, Programmer Ultra. And Huma calling house arrest as well. Dang, I failed to tag Kira twice. It's okay, Yater. Don't worry about it, friend. Score body vibes. Sore body vibes. So strange. That is strange. But like, as I was talking about, going into the little trip of how powerful our minds are to influence our bodies. And I genuinely want to know about the breathwork exercise as well because like what's weird and like bear with me because this sounds like some weird hippie shit. I would love for you to try it for yourself so that you can see I'm not just talking straight nonsense because I know it sounds like nonsense sometimes. But like if you do these breath works properly, and to give you a guide if you want to know, I do 33 breaths, breathe in as deep as you can and exhale as deep as you can, or as empty as you can. You know what I'm talking about. 33 times. On your 33rd breath, blow out everything. Hold that for as long as you can. And then when you can't anymore, breathe in. So the Wim Hof method like expects you to breathe in once. I kind of like going for 4 times just to expel any like built up carbon dioxide and oxygenate myself again. Do like 4 breaths again, and your fourth breath you hold it for as long as you can. You can flex your core, and what I like to do is I focus on my spine as well, and like I focus on the muscles around my spine, and I try and compress them. You'll feel a little bit of pressure in your head, and then you hold that in breath for as long as you can. Blow out, and then you start the whole process over again. 33 breaths, hold, breathe 4 times, hold the upwards breath. And then if you go through that 3 times, at least 3 times, the whole cycle, so 99 breaths in total, if you will, like at that point, like I would even recommend you lie down because to me at least, I lie down with my hands on my heart, and then I make myself very aware that I want to connect with my heart and my heart chakra, and this is the energy that I'm focusing on, and it literally becomes like in this spot of my body like a concentration of this vibration energy. Like it feels like I'm shaking, my entire body is shaking, and then as I move my hands up, like it will the shaking energy, the intensity energy will kind of move with it. And try it for yourself. It's literally just breathing, completely natural, nothing external from yourself, and it's extremely powerful. We got you covered. Oh yes, we do. Did you say already? Could you have shakes or just pre-liquids? Congrats. I wouldn't smoke and stay dedicated. Like interestingly enough, for me at least, smoking while I'm fasting helps me in some sort of odd way. Like I don't necessarily have my appetite directly stimulated by weed itself. It's more a case of I enjoy eating food more, and it's easier for me to keep my food down more when I smoke weed. In comparison, like if I don't smoke weed while fasting, I'll and especially with fasting, I'll like my mind will be running too much, and I'll be thinking about eating things. Hello. She just went and tinkled. Probably gonna get wet spots on my pants now. Are you coming here? Huh? I thought so. Okay. Too much work? Okay. She literally put her one foot on the cushion and then put it down again. You comfortable there? Okay, you can sit down. Mammy, you got it right though. Once is enough. I think so as well. You here, friend? Maybe not just yet, but I'm sure soon. Kira be like, who? How? What? When? Mammy is Reddit MVP. Oh, she is. She's just such a blessed, beautiful, warm and loving individual. I'm very much grateful to have her in my life as well now. Oh, Lane is here as well. Oh, yes, he is. Your brain doesn't know the difference between dreams and reality. It takes reality for you to confirm to your brain that it was a dream, but it is as a thing, it isn't aware of the difference. That's true, Nelson. Like, and I feel the reason for that is, but this is like my shotgun theory. I don't know if this is true in any like at all. I feel the reason our dreams feel so realistic and so, right, if you will, it's just because of the nature of our consciousness, right? If we are this eternal consciousness that has lived in trillions of different bodies, trillions of different lifetimes, and trillions of different worlds and dimensions, then the fluidity of consciousness and the conscious experience isn't something that really trips it up, right? And in the same way, in a dream where shit is just whack, things don't function in the way that they do in this three-dimensional plane of existence, it's not really something that perturbs you that much. And that's a reason for that as well. Like the logic parts of your brain get switched off in your dreaming so that you don't analyze too much. But yeah, we are eternal beings experiencing a subjective consciousness, or a subjective variation of that consciousness, maybe. Is there a better way to say it? I should read up. How did your body handle a low blood sugar? So, fortunately, low blood sugar isn't really much of a problem. Low blood sugar is a problem if you're constantly eating carbohydrates, because that basically means that even though you are eating carbohydrates, you don't have adequate sugar levels in your bloodstream. When you do fasting, you are basically requiring your body. So the first 3 days, it basically extracts all of the glycogen out of your muscles and stuff, and the glycogen you have left in your bloodstream as a fuel source. And then as soon as it realizes, I don't have any glycogen left and I'm not going to be receiving any food anytime soon, like in the event of starvation, for example, or you don't know where food is, or you're like looking for food as a primitive human being, your body is basically required to switch over to a new fuel source. And there's a very good reason our body stores fat as its main fuel source. So it switches over to turning fat molecules into ketone bodies. And ketones is basically a molecule manufactured by our livers. Technically, our brain prefers ketones over glycogen as its method of burning because it burns cleaner. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, there is actually efficiency and waste with our foods as well, and processing and burning sugars in our brains. And that's why it's actually very important for us to sleep properly, because sleep actually washes away those residual chemicals, the buildup of those free radicals and toxins as you go throughout your day. So blood sugar isn't a problem because your body basically switches over to the production of ketones. Some good stuff. Hey, Candace is here with us now. I'm so happy to have you here. Things are good, man. I am a little sluggish today, but the energy is rising. How are you doing today, Edmund? I'm happy to hear that, Gator. Candace, I have been summoned. Yes, you have, my friend. Thank you for the love as well. I appreciate it, Kathy. Didn't see the stream notification. It do be like that. Ugh, I'm not surprised. Slept like last night. I'm slowly waking up more. I hope so. seems I'm not the only one that are is like dealing with a little bit of lethargy today. Thank you, friends, for joining me in this space. Nonetheless, love and hugs, mammy. Love and hugs to you, Kathy. Peace, my friends. Praise to you, Slayer. Thank you for joining us again, friend. It's been a while. How have you been? I'm Dutch. It's the same here, just not used a lot. I think it's funny. I think it's funny as well, Halay. Thank you for telling me, friend. Before I take a sip of water, what is my intention? Flow. I feel flow. To be in a state of flow, to celebrate my oneness with spirit in every single day, in every single action, in every single thought. It's too much. It's just too much. Sounds like a theme today, Edmund. We'll find the energy to get moving soon, I'm sure. I'm sending you friends so much love. Making bacon and eggs for the hubby and about to drink this brownie coffee. How many different coffee flavors do you have? Or is it the same brownie, fudge, chocolate coffee? It might be actually. I love weird hippie shit. Sign me up. Dude, you've been signed up. You're on the bus, man. We can't get off now. I'm here listening intently with headphones on, but starting a dinner prep early so my hands are busy. You are so loved, Mammy. Thank you for lending us your ear, if you will. I hope to whisper sweet everythings in your ear. Hippie shit isn't weird. Non-hippies are the weirdos. Like, I feel when I say hippie shit, it's just like because people kind of chuck up these ideas as, oh yeah, you're just some hippie nonsense, right? For me, it's more this admittance that I don't know, and I'm going to say this theory that it is a little bit esoteric, a little bit out there, and it's of course not something that I can prove. So yeah, like I mean, can we prove anything? I was listening to this talk today of this dude that theorizes that there are subjective truths and relative truths, where relative truths are truths that are there without a living organism witnessing them. So, for example, the moon would be a relative truth because it is constantly circling our planet and we all know it's there, for example, right? It was there probably before we were here as well. And then there are subjective truths, truths that are only true if a human is allowed to experience them, if something is allowed to experience them. And in that way, for example, our taste, our sight, our hearing, our feeling of things, and our smell of things are all subjective truths, not real truths. Because if we cease to be, those truths would cease to be with us, you know. And then you can go even further and you can talk about like a being that can only see two colors. It can see the color red and it can see the color green. So the color green it sees when in its immediate environment the oxygen levels, for example, is like breathable. And then when it turns red, the oxygen levels goes past the point where it starts to be non-breathable. So let's say green goes up from like let's say 15% oxygen to about 22.2% oxygen in the air, and then red is like up from there, so like 22.2 up to like 50% oxygen. So those higher amounts would kill you, but they won't kill you instantly, and they also won't necessarily kill you at the lower scale of that. But for the being experiencing this, like even if the oxygen were to raise just like a single of a percentage over what it thinks of as a normal, suddenly it will get a truth about the oxygen rising past, levels that is breathable by its environment turning red, for example. But it won't necessarily know all of the truth, like the actual relative truth of what that information is. And it's like he goes into explaining how being able to see more of what is real technically hurts your, what word did he use, fitness test. Like if a fitness test is something, or a fitness reward test, something like that, like being able to extract resources from the environment and pass on your genetics, being able to see more of the truth doesn't necessarily allow you to do that better, and quite the contrary. Like, it can actually go the opposite way around. And as well, like, there is this weird, and like the thing, what I believe at least about the way that he was explaining it, he was saying that beings that can see the truth. So they even did a simulation where they created beings within an environment. The environment had resources, and they were to live in this environment. Half of the units they gave information about the truth. Like they told them what their purpose, what the understanding of their environment was. And the other ones they kind of left as is, just with the understanding that they need to continue consuming resources to survive, and they need to procreate. And what they noticed is that even though one group knew what was going on, if you will, they didn't perform any better than the group that didn't know what was going on. And in contrast, like as a result of not knowing what is going on, or basically completely focusing on the reward slash fitness aspects of life, you basically hide the truth from yourself. And yeah, it's a trip. And like, I don't know if that made sense, but it just points to me again to how we can go in and out of understanding, and how more understanding of the true nature of this world technically reduces fitness in a way that people would be less likely to purchase things, people would be less likely to constantly procreate, people would be less likely to just build. Gross. She has something dead in her mouth. Wants to come and chew it on my lap. I ain't gonna have none of that. Ain't we got time for that? Dum dum. Lung exercise. Don't wait. I can hold my breath for 5 minutes straight from holding my breath too long. Lung exercise. That's pretty cool. First aid. That is, and I don't think so either, my friend. The new Jim Jones. I don't know who Jim Jones is, but thank you. Tabriz, I appreciate your love, my friend. The unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. I'm looking forward to entering it with your friends. Old Melt is nothing like Jim Jones. I don't know who Jim Jones is, even, Edmund. I'm happy that you're defending. No, can't be. Hey, Nate. Hippie Melt Gang. Thank you for joining us, Nate. It's so nice to have you here, my friend. She's looking for the bud she stole the other day, sitting in the same spot. Lol. Man, like, I wonder how she just has constant access to dead things. I wonder if she's the one killing things. Because my sister woke up this morning with both the head of a rabbit and the tail of something in her room. It gets cold at night, so she's a little bit stupid. Shame. She's trying to bury that dead thing that I just told her she can't have with me on concrete. Oh, this is embarrassing. I want to show you. Let's go embarrass Kiki. Oh, that's concrete, Kiki. That's concrete. I don't think you'll win. You can't bury something on concrete. You can't bury something on concrete, Kiki. She did pretend like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna pretend like I wasn't paying attention to anything there. You can't distract me. I know where your bone is. I guess she just wants the other dogs to not know where the bone is. Dump, 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 dump. I think we should be level. It's the best. One day I'm gonna get a mammy dinner. I look forward to a mammy dinner with myself, actually, Slag. 100%. Gotta tend to the babies. Y'all take care. Love you, Aunt B. Thank you for joining us in this space. What do you think of Pokemon? I have played my fair share of Pokemon. Not enough to be an advocate, if you will, but enough to have enjoyed it thoroughly, friend. Shine on. I will if you do as well, Burley. Thank you, friend. Drutsnoot. I don't know what that means down with the Barbie. Hey Trevor, hello friends. I hope everyone's going well today. Things are going well, friend. How are things with you? Is it healthy to enjoy playing Pokemon? If you're doing it, in moderation, like if you're abstaining from food for months at a time, for a month at a time, refusing to drink water for 3 days at a time, not sleeping while playing Pokemon, then maybe it's not that great. But if you're still respecting yourself, then surely it is. Doom, doom, doom. I remember watching you with a little cute puppy a while ago. Thank you for joining us as well, and again, Green. Like she is behind me right now. There she is. Like she's a little bit of a riot. Poor Eva. It just does not get any rest. Like I'm so happy that she does that to the other dogs now because that used to be me getting terrorized. I feel like I'm being excused from the tyranny a little bit. Updude my dudes. You friends who have upduted, I appreciate the love you share. It's not something that's required, fortunately. I wish all of us could have a potluck together. Bring our own ganja and a homemade dish each. A person can dream. It's only a matter of time, Olive. You have put it into the universe. Like, and when I say it's a matter of time, I can say that with confidence because we live in an infinite universe, right? And this universe infinite nature kind of dictates that anything that you could perceivably think of has already happened. Or you can go even further and think of it as on a four-dimensional level, that there is only this moment and all things that could happen are happening right now. So there is already a state of existence in which we are having a potluck, as you say, or we're smoking joints and having a dish together right now. Fortunately, we'll go there eventually, my friend. That is the best explanation I've ever heard of the effects of inner workings of intermittent fasting. Nice one, Mel. Thank you, Mammy. Like I do feel I do a lot of research when it comes to these sort of things, and experimenting with myself with the research that I've done is the best way for me to grow. Have you tried kiwi on pizza? Life changer. Interesting that you say that, Yabo. Like I saw, I think a Reddit meme post, like picture or something, where it was like, pineapple and non-pineapple pizza eaters need to rally against this new threat, and it was like pizza with slices of kiwi on it. And I was like, I would not mind trying it. I don't think that would be something I'd make a regular. Like, oh yes, can you get the kiwi pizza, please? But as a once-off, as something to try, I won't say no. To sip the water. Flow. To sip the water is good. Mm-mm-mm-mm. You do Sykes, don't you? Do you play any video games? I haven't played any video games in a while. It's probably been like 3 months since I've played any games, and the last game that I really played was Cyberpunk. You'll always like. I think Cyberpunk, in a lot of ways, killed my enthusiasm for gaming. I loved The Witcher 3 so much, like so much that I would be obsessively trying to convince my friends to try and play it themselves. And I was kind of expecting the same level of immersion, enjoyment, interaction, level progression, fights as I was expecting for Cyberpunk, and then Cyberpunk came out. I pre-ordered it and stuff, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? What's this? Wow, this is not what I expected at all. I wait, and the thing is, I saw that trailer for Cyberpunk literally as a 14-year-old. We had these magazines called Rage in South Africa. It would be like a gaming magazine. It would have articles of new games coming out, technology that was, coming out in the market for gaming. It was just, for me, being a gaming slash tech nerd as a teenager, that was the ideal book. And then as a bonus with these books, and that was also one of my favorite parts, you would get a Rage CD. And then on these CDs, you would get like up to 120 trailers from different videos. You would have like little mini game samples that they would let you play and you can install on your computer. It was such a vibe. And in one of those trailer folders, as a 14-year-old, I got to see the Cyberpunk trailer, the one where the woman with the mantis blades is like on her knees and bullets are flying past her. You know the one if you know the one. And I was like, dude, me and my friends, I'm like, bro, if games look like this ever, then we've lived. Waiting so freaking long for this game to come out, like what, 10, 9 years waiting desperately, and then in the meanwhile playing not Cyberpunk, Witcher 3, which is this absolutely jaw-droppingly gorgeous game. And the game is still beautiful, don't get me wrong, like the game is absolutely breathtaking. It is just, like, for me, the biggest thing is the fight mechanics and the power curves. Like, I'm unstoppable in that game. I'm too strong. Like, I'm way, way too strong. And even if I set the difficulty up, I just go from being One Punch Man to being Seven Punch Man. But I'm like, I just go with them with the katana. Like, you have like a button, or at least it might have like a stim pack that slows down time. So everyone else is like moving, like, and I'm this freaking ninja with a katana. We're running around, and then like that's the whole thing. Every single time I'm like, okay, I'm going to do mission. I slice through everyone. I do mission. In The Witcher 3, I had my ass handed to me so many times. Like I probably died probably 200 times. 200 times plus that I died. I don't think I've died twice in Cyberpunk. And I'm not supposed to constantly die. I mean, get good if you're constantly dying, but yeah, I expected so much more, unfortunately. A bunch of people were talking about how cool you are in another stream a few days ago. Now I see why. I like the way you think, man. Peace. Namaste. Thank you, Mr. Dyslexic. I appreciate the love you're sharing with me as well, Fred. Wobble wibble weirdos. Hey, Toasty. Thank you for being here with us, you weirdo. I don't know you got this many viewers. I always thought it was like 100 and something. I mean, it depends on the day. Like if we go front page, we get a little bit more viewers. But yeah, we do well. Thank you, Fred. Like, it's not about the viewers though. It's about you friends. You friends that stay, you friends that comment, you friends that share your love. That's what it's really about. Melt, it's been a while, man. I'm really happy to see you're still pressing on. Blame it all on Mark. It has been a while, my friend. Thank you for joining us again. I feel I've gained too much momentum to ever stop now. And I'll find myself in a space where I'll imagine what it would be like if I didn't go streaming. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Wouldn't it be nice to just, take a nap the whole day or whatever? And like I kind of came to the conclusion, if I feel so tired, so defeated that I can't even get out of bed, I'll stream in bed, yo. I'll stream messy hair in my pajamas. I'll still share the love, nonetheless, regardless, no matter what. Sounds discarte, this is shit. Thank you, Zolo. I appreciate you sharing your personal experience with us as well. Wow, are you tripping? I'm not tripping, actually, friend. No, that's just Melt. Yeah, I'm not tripping right now. I do tell you, friends. Like, I do tell you, friends, when I do have higher levels of meltitude, if you will. Like I have set a scale now as well, and I'll set it again. A zero of how melted I am is like first thing in the morning. I haven't even had a coffee, and then like a five would be just barely holding on to this reality, and I'm maybe like a one right now. I did have some coffee. So I have a question that may be a little sensitive, but I've been thinking about it a bit this morning. Do share with us, please. Please, Edmund. I'm always, always open to everything. Thank you for the hugs, little beer. Morning, Melt. Hope you are well, bruv. Steadily shine. I'm doing good, friend. How are you, my friend? Alzheimer's, dementia. Do you think it's possible that these are an almost evolutionary trait in humans as we get old to distract ourselves from the reality that we will die soon? That is a loaded question. You're very much right, Edmund, and it's especially loaded because I have Alzheimer's in my family. Freaking sun is beating down on me again. I have Alzheimer's in my family, and my grandma is a severe Alzheimer's sufferer, if you will. Like, it's at the point where she doesn't recognize us anymore. She's in constant care. It is devastating. And I don't actually think it is to distract ourselves from the fact that we will die soon, at least in my personal opinion, Edmund. And I would love to hear yours as well. To me, I believe it is 100% a function of your brain. It's literally as your brain loses the ability to produce dopamine and serotonin, and as you basically get caught up in your default mode network, and that's the only thing you do, and you don't experience any novelty. I believe those things kind of push towards the degradation of your mental health, and then the way you eat, if you exercise or not, the kind of ideas you try and practice, how much you challenge yourself. I believe all of these things can have like weights, if you will, when it comes to Alzheimer's and stuff like that and dementia. I don't know though. Like, it is something that I'm not scared of, but it is something I am wary of. Like, I'm going to be taking precautions in my life as I grow older to make sure that reality doesn't ever happen. Jim Jones is a cult leader who moved his crew to and make them drink poison Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah, like, that's why I don't remember his name. He doesn't deserve to be remembered. The people that died around him, though, I think there was like 1,000, right? Yeah, I don't know how you can say something like that. I feel that is more offensive than just saying cult leader in its own. Why would you ever think something like that? As a person that wants to lead people, this freaking sun is making me introspective. It's just blazing in my eyes. Please, please, sun, just give me a second. Yeah, no, friend. Life is the only way. Love is the only way. Uh, as one of the only self-aware species, could we have needed a distraction from the approaching reality of our own passing? So the reason, and like, this is a little bit controversial to say, the reason I don't believe it is necessarily a function of our, what did you say exactly? A function of our humanity, of our self-awareness. I believe it's more a function of degradation of quality of mind and the associated neurochemicals that go with it. Because if you've had, for instance, psilocybin experience, right? Something very similar to your own naturally produced serotonin. You kind of have to come to terms with certain things like your own passing, especially if you have copious amounts of psilocybin in your brain. And it isn't something I feel that is like avoidable. Again, like, impermanence is very much a part of this reality. Like, even if you don't want to accept your own impermanence, you have to kind of accept the understanding that eventually our sun is going to lose so much mass, it will expand into a red giant, devouring our planet, and then eventually collapse onto itself. Either, like, it probably won't form a black hole. It's probably too small for that, but and then explode, go supernova and then destroy everything in our solar system. And then eventually, after that as well, there's going to be the inevitable heat death of the universe. So, coming to the terms and coming to the understanding of our impermanence, as I feel more uh, a pursuit of understanding about now and how you perceive your moment now and how you appreciate this moment now than it is necessarily something you have to deal with as you're passing. I feel it's hard work constantly. That little tail wagging just melts my heart. She is so adorable. The sun is being a little bit much. Like it's unrelenting, and I happen to and I keep looking this way because I can literally see where all of the shadow is, and it just so happens that I pick the spot that there is no shadow, and none whatsoever. I'm gonna do this. Better. Checkmate, son. Can't blast my eyeballs now. Can you? The son is like, don't worry, dude. I'll be coming again tomorrow. Where do you live? I live in South Africa, my friend. We look at it in a negative light, but could it be a positive for the person experiencing? Interesting thought, Edmund. I feel it's very much not a positive experience yet. Having seen my grandma completely deteriorate, and the confusion, like that's the thing for me. Like there's so much confusion. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who the people around her is. She curses at them. She's scared and she's angry constantly. I don't see any value therein whatsoever, unfortunately. And it's something that we already know can be mediated through the use of plant medicines. Zanger, thank you for joining us again, friend. It's so nice to have you here. And maybe could be why we can't seem to find a cure. No, we've already found a lot of information about it. Can you do a 360 view? Like there's mostly a house on this side, so if anything, a 180 view, my friend. Like I can do this for you for now. A little bit that way, a little bit that way. There you go, friend. I have to get this level again. Should be good. Mm-mm. Around them, but how painful is it to them? I think so. Like I think I've talked enough about it. It's actually a little bit of a close or a soft spot in my heart, and I'm not trying to avoid it, but I do feel I've said my bit about it. It's an interesting idea, Edmund. I also feel like our actual essence is entangled in our memory. So I wonder if we can even consider a person who has lost their memory as truly themselves anymore. You see, I don't think so. That's the thing. Blame it on Mark. Like my grandma is not the same person anymore. Like you cannot have a conversation with her. She cannot have a conversation with you. She constantly looks like she's in this state of I'm trying to focus on what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Why don't I know what's happening? I'm trying to focus on what's happening. I don't know what's happening. And it's like, it's not, I don't think there's any value in it whatsoever. It's very devastating. How much are they suffering or even aware? Oh, very much so, Edmund. Very much so. I'm dealing with my sick mom. Her mind definitely goes in and out for different levels of consciousness. Does you notice? I'm curious about that, Lisa. Very good point. If all our experiences make up our being, and we start losing that experience, are we still the same person? It's a scary reality to think about as well. Unfortunately, I'm going to share the link to Mel's beautiful Discord. Thank you, Mammy. I appreciate the love you share, my friend. To the friends who do want to join the Discord and share the space with other loving beings, do feel free to. I feel like it's been day 216 since the last 3 days. I don't think so. I might have made a mistake. I wouldn't put it past myself, but thank you for joining us again, Motorfox. So sorry to hear that, Lisa. It makes you wonder if those harder moments where she isn't quite lucid is she experiencing some other level of consciousness we don't yet understand? The mind is just one part of the body we live in. Do we think the soul changes when the mind does? I would think that the soul would remain true at the source, just some thoughts. So, like soul, consciousness, awareness. Let's say those things are the same in this context. Like I feel again in that, and just talking about what I've seen from my own grandma, there very much is an awareness of, her current experience. And her Alzheimer's technically would be a divine experience as well, because being in a state of not knowing to the point where you don't know and then you forget what it was you didn't know a second ago over and over again, I feel it would be something to experience, but I don't necessarily think the awareness of the eye awareness enjoys it. And this is something I was thinking about today. Thinking about God caring for all living beings, and loving all living beings, and how the death of these living beings can be seen as something that's tragic, but can also be seen as something that, if the death was traumatic, or the way of death was traumatic, or the life before death was traumatic, maybe as a flip side to that, the afterlife, the gift afterwards, or the returning to source, will have even more significance, even more revelation, even more happiness to it. So in the hurt, right? Again, like in our egoic consciousness's way of thinking of hurt and harm in this world, maybe there is still so much love being perceived afterwards. And who are we to say? Who are we to say? Sorry for the heavy subject. By the way, guys, just been on my mind. No, Edmund, like, I'm not shying away from it. It is, something that's very sensitive and hurting, if you will. But thank you, friend, for bringing it up nonetheless. Great point. We lose the memory of our experience, the soul, energy, being, retain those experiences regardless. Yeah, I do believe that as well. Like, it's like a crystallization of your soul. Like, those things will never go away. The information that you were supposed to gain is going to stay with you. But I think you'll only be completely aware of it when you're completely aware of your awareness again. And the problem is that in a state of Alzheimer's, you have less control over your awareness. And your awareness is less filtered technically, because you have more instant awareness about what's going on, but you have less accumulative awareness about how you're supposed to be acting and how you're supposed to be interpreting information. Hey, I've seen you here before. Day 216 of what? Day 216 of showing up, friend. Of sharing a space in which we know love is real. And that's exactly what we're doing here, friend. Of showing up and streaming. Thank you, Edmund. I appreciate you letting them know as well. That is a fair thing to document. It is indeed, my friend. It is. Maybe it's what the individual needs to help them transition to their next state of consciousness. It can be, Charles. And I hope it is, my friend. Like, the thing is, my grandma has been suffering with this for so long. And I think that's the part about Alzheimer's that hurts me the most. It isn't necessarily something that kills you, right? It makes you suffer. And if you look at a person's brain scan that has Alzheimer's, it quite literally looks like their brain is rotting. Like pieces of their brain is missing. Like it loses functionality. I don't think there is. I personally don't necessarily think that is a divine part or a divine intention necessarily. And of course, in all things there are love. But I feel, if anything, it's a biological lack or falsehood, if you will. And I think we can fix it. I think we will fix it eventually. So, like, the alternative to that question, and I feel this could be a way to kind of wrap it up, if you will, at least for me. If you like took a DNA test, for example, and you knew for a fact that you would get Alzheimer's, would that be something you would opt into because you think it might be what needs to help you to transition to your next set of consciousness? You see, for me, it's like a hard no. I'm like, nah, Like, I don't believe that is how you're supposed to do it, or that is the only way to do it, or that is what it's supposed to do in the first place. I believe it is, if anything, just the decline of your brain. It's not something we developed out of necessity over time, perhaps. So the only reason I wouldn't think that it's something that developed over time as a necessity is because it would be something, anything that develops in our human nature is something that kind of promotes our existence and our continued survival. Alzheimer's doesn't like ensure your continued survival. Like, and our bodies wouldn't necessarily code for dying in that way, and especially not in a way that it like kind of eats away at your brain. Have anyone told you you look like Kit Harington? No one has ever told me that, friend. You are the first. Thank you, friend. What jobs has your family done in Zimbabwe? My dad was actually a mining engineer in Zimbabwe, friend. How does anyone feel about approaching the singularity? That is the eventual combination of humans and machines. I know what the singularity is. So it's not even just that, my friend. Like, the singularity, at least to me, is when information and the processing of that information becomes so decentralized that I feel like I have a hair in my mouth. Becomes so decentralized that there is only one single point of understanding. So we see ourselves as individual human beings experiencing a relative consciousnesses, right? And then if we continue going at the pace that it is we're going now, continue bettering technology, get to the point where we have complete ability to integrate our consciousness with machines, have those machines get to the point where they can facilitate our consciousness or give us even more layers of consciousness, and then the technology improving and the interconnectivity improving to the point where that consciousness becomes the consciousness that is the singularity. And luckily enough, Olive, and I feel I can say this with a mild amount of confidence, I believe we are born in the best time ever because we're heading towards the singularity as fast as we are. And going towards the singularity is something that's exponential. And I believe we are now quite in that exponential upwards curve. So we're going to be seeing all of the technological advancement, all of the benefit as we're heading towards that singularity. But I don't think we'll necessarily reach the point where we'll have the technology to actually be a part of that singularity, at least be integrated completely into that singularity. We might get a glimpse, a taste of what that singularity might be, but I feel we don't necessarily need to be in it. Like, we already are, you know, and that's the trippy thing about it to me as well. If anything, it just kind of points towards the divinity of this current existence we're living in. So we have this ability to process, right, and extrapolate information. We eat food, and our brains are very highly efficient machines when it comes to their energy usage. So we have this brain that can generate all of this information with us eating food. So if we can get a brain-sized, brain-level energy-consuming machine that can have a conscious experience, and its conscious experience, whatever metric you want to use to define that, is 20% better or more aware than this conscious experience, then quite literally that follows the laws of the universe. You know, our universe has a state of trying to use as little energy as possible to achieve the goal it's trying to achieve. Dyson sphering a sun and using that as a supercomputer to generate more consciousness is technically more efficient in generating consciousness and producing individualized consciousnesses so that there may be experience, because that experience can be seen as something that's valuable. It's more efficient to do so with Dyson sphering suns and running simulations than it would be to do so through billions of years of evolution. So on a logical level, and still honoring God, you know, whatever you may think of as God, as source, as the universe, it's something that is going to happen, and I think it's something that's supposed to happen. Even I'll go as far as to say that. It's gonna be beautiful. There we go. Duty has the feeling as well. Honestly, it terrifies me, but I can't help but be curious. Like, the thing is, Olive, to just like backtrack a little bit, you already are a part of that singularity. You're just experiencing duality. You are that singularity. And that's the trippy part about it for me. What jobs has your family done in South Africa? I mean, my dad has been a mining engineer his whole life. He started a business now. My mom has been a house mom, but she's been baking and selling jewelry, and at one point had like a waxing clinic, if you will, to wax women. Yeah, that's the jobs my family has done. I guess I didn't realize we actually can prevent it. Yeah, I mean, go look up psychedelic research of Alzheimer's, my friend. Made my grandmother a shell of a human. It brought all her tears and prejudices to the surface. Fears and prejudice to the surface. I never knew she was racist until her awareness changed. Yeah, you see, and I don't think that is something that serves you, Nate. These like that is exactly what I was talking about as well, my friend. You're seeing what I'm talking about. Why are people so gullible, but untrustworthy of the right things? I believe, I believe people are especially resistant to truths because it is something that challenges their understanding of the way that they've been living. And then, in challenging the understanding of the way that they've been living, it basically creates a sense of I have to kind of fess up and admit I've been doing things wrong this whole time. And not many people are willing to do that. That essentially is what I'm trying to say. Our soul is our true essence. So if our mind no longer has a connection to our memory, is it possible that maybe our soul is not even there anymore? No, I don't think that. I think as long as you're aware, you're still very much in soul, right? You're like experiencing soul, experiencing awareness, experiencing consciousness. The filters on that, if you take away all of your senses and you find yourself in empty space, you're still very much aware, even though you don't have much to be aware of. If you're only aware of your unawareness of things or your lack of being able to comprehend things, I believe it can be something that creates a lot of turmoil in the soul. Thank you for the energy, Olive. I appreciate that. Could these diseases be a result of energy returning back to source? So energy returns back to source nonetheless. It doesn't, nothing has to happen for that to happen. Like, eventually, all things born in time will pass in time. Possibly. I like tree shedding almost like a tree shedding its leaves, but not quite the same, obviously. Mel, hey Gob, thank you for joining us, my friend. I had the same experience with my grandfather. It is devastatingly so. And thank you, Racer, for the love to you, friend. Dance to us, please, whirling dervish. I'll dance when I have enough energy to do so again, friend. Sorry, guys, I feel a bit bad now. I should say that I've never been around Alzheimer's or dementia much, so I have no personal references for it. You don't have to apologize, Edmund. I mean, this is how we learn, right? Like, if you didn't bring this question or this like idea, then I wouldn't have been able to share my experience with you, and Lisa wouldn't have been able to share her experience with you, and Nate as well wouldn't have been able to share his experience with you. And as a result of us sharing these experiences, we can learn from it. And as a result of learning from these things, it can recalibrate, if you will, our sensitivities towards things. Anyone that has dealt with Alzheimer's or dementia in some way, I'm sending you love and light. My thoughts are with you. Thank you, Yater. I appreciate your love, my friend. I'm not trying to belittle anyone's experience with their family or anything. I don't see that at all, Edmund. You don't have to worry, my friend. Hugs to you. I second that. Did you feed grandma mushroom tea? Just got here. Unfortunately, not, friend. I did actually suggest it to my family, but they feel, again, with her being so confused and so scared and lost constantly. They think, if anything, well, that's what they believe. They believe it's something that can push or accentuate that confusion that misunderstanding of her own experience, and it can be something that can terrify her even more. Like, if anything, like, unfortunately, when she started getting Alzheimer's, I was like 14, 13. So at that point in my life, I didn't necessarily understand as much as I do right now. If I did know back then and I had access to, I would have probably been a little bit more adamant and talking to my family about stuff like that and trying to help her. Sorry for the noise. It makes me sad that we have these things, you know. Like, I'm thinking specifically about plant chemicals that activate the H2A receptors, you know. So you friends know what that means. Anything that is like serotonin formed, for example. It causes your brain to release brain-derived neurotropic factor. Literally stimulates new neuronal growth. I believe, and I'm curious about this as well. So, I and I've been theorizing. I wonder if that is happening necessarily because you have more of the chemical in your brain, and this chemical facilitates the growth of neurons, or if the growth of neurons occurs because the chemical is in your brain and the excited firing of neurons basically fires new patterns, and then your brain's excited level of processing basically stimulates or encourages new growth for your brain to try and catch up or be in resonance, uh, like make itself used to whatever word you want to use, to that state of consciousness, to that state of existence. And then as a result of that, it pushes your brain to grow new neurons and form new connections. Same to you. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. I really was only trying to explore some thoughts I had. That's all, but I realized it may be more of a sore subject than I had thought about. No, don't worry about it, Edmund. It definitely is a sore subject, and I feel, if anything, the soreness of the subject for me came from suggesting even that there is something good to be had in that experience. And I feel that in myself is a bias. I feel it's only just because of what I've witnessed, you know, what I've seen her experiencing, and knowing what brain scans look like of people that have dementia and Alzheimer's as well. It looks like someone took a shotgun to your brain or your neuronal activity. Like, imagine if you could have a shotgun of neuron deactivating pellets and then just like banging someone's brain with that shit. That's what Alzheimer's does to you, and oh, it's devastating. Alerts, you guys. Meld, y'all are consistently widening my perspective. I appreciate you, and we appreciate you, Jovan. Thank you. Like, I feel like I'm definitely having my perspective widened as well. This is a sensitive topic and a sore subject for me as well. I think the craziest part about it is because I have a dad that is now, 50, getting older, and knowing that I have a grandma that had Alzheimer's, knowing that Alzheimer's does kind of like sticking around after generations. It's something that causes a lot of concern within myself, for my father and for my mother, because I want them to stay, especially them to stay healthy and on it, if you will, for as long as they possibly can. And then again, knowing these things, feeling these things about, what I know and what the data is now showing as well, like especially that there's official research out, and them still being kind of resistant. Like, my dad has opted into microdosing, fortunately, so that is going to be in the ballpark. But then again, like what I was asking previously, like, what is it that really stimulates the growth? Is it the actual amount of chemical, or is it the neuronal activity? Because in that case, I think there would be more benefits, and this is why I'm asking specifically. There would be more benefits in like higher doses, if you will, for like shorter periods of time versus taking sustained lower doses. If more brain cells grow just as a result of the chemical being present, then microdosing definitely would have value. And I think microdosing would have value regardless. I just wish we had more informations, and we will get more information. Unfortunately, we grew up in an age, and our parents grew up in an age where these things were demonized because they were used as a ploy to demonize people, not necessarily the substance themselves. And only now, recently, studies are opening up for these things again. So we're going to be getting some whack data over the next few years, I'm sure. My head hurts. I'm sorry, dude. Let's melt. This is what melting is about, friend. Like it's sometimes difficult, I know, but this is what we do. Let the tractor go. It's okay. The noise isn't that distracting. Like I wasn't worried about it. I just didn't want to talk over it. Later. Sure, sure. Eva and Kiki, back there, hip hopping around. They are slightly distracting though, in a good way. It's a kivit behind me as well now. They were behind me a while ago, just kind of playing around. It's already getting a little bit cooler, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went back inside. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. What is a squeaky? What is a squeaky? Anything that causes friction in a way that it turns into sound. I guess it's squeaky. Yeah, right? I think it's a funky beatbox and burp. Funky beatbox and burp. Sounds like a one liner on a track. Funky beatbox and burp. Funky beatbox and burp. Funky beatbox burp. Funky beatbox burp. Dude, I caught you. Hey, Secret King. Damn it, dude. You have to show up more, man. I've already forgotten your name again. Best way for me to remember the name? Consistency. If I say it every single day, I'm bound to remember it. Secret King, damn it. I see your name in my head. Forgetting it constantly, dude. No. I'm gonna try. I feel again, and I feel like I said it last time as well, and that's why I'm remembering it. Like it starts with an M, like Mika or yeah, something like that. I love you, dude. I love you too, my friend. That's why I want to remember. I mean, Secret King is a cool name as well, though. We can't only talk about the sweet Edmund. The sour needs to be addressed as well, especially stuff like that. Especially when it comes to neurological diseases and how they affect the person that is experiencing them and how the people around them that are witnessing this as well. Because it is definitely going to be something we have to be equipped to deal with at some point in our lives. If you've spent your entire life avoiding some sort of information or a way of processing the information that you're avoiding, for example, then when you're going to be beaten down to the point where you have no recourse other than to confront that information, it is going to be so much more difficult for you to come to some sort of logical, positive conclusion because you haven't put the work in before, because you haven't gone out of your way to just try and learn about these things. They're back, Jovan, with their shenanigans. There's my video, right? And I know this, I suppose I'm just letting it get to my own head. Don't worry about it at all. I think it might be partly my fault, Edmund, because I was hurt by it and I didn't know how to deal with that hurt. And I feel maybe some of it like leaked out a little bit, but I'm good, my friend. You're good. Don't worry about it at all. You cannot have the positive without the negative. If you want the positive, you'll have to take the negative. Alan Watts, what a dude. Sending love back. So much love to y'all. Gotta run. Goodbye, Olive. Thank you for joining us, my friend. I love you, bro. I love you too. Yes, Micah. You see, I knew it was something with an M. And I actually thought Mika. I thought like Mica, but Micah. Micah, Secret King, stole my car. Micah. I'll try to remember. I think maybe I'll have it this time, my friend. Let's try Micah's email. How's he liking it? He hasn't tried just yet, Edmund. He hasn't tried just yet. He basically just said to me that he would be willing to microdose. And then when I asked him, would you be willing to go above a microdose, he was like, no. I was like, okay. Dude, aren't we all secret kings and queens? Yes, we are. We are that which always is, my friend. And we have the honor, the blessing, the opportunity to get caught up in this current life, in this current understanding, this current existence, and it is beautiful. Please get up and dance with your eyes closed. Energy to dance will fill you once you take action. Milliganon, I appreciate you wanting me to dance, friend. I do appreciate your love that you're trying to share. Danced been danced, friend. I don't feel like dancing right now. So I'm not going to. Very cool. A step in a positive direction. Absolutely. You're a classic. Thank you, friend. I was thinking you should host a self-love seminar. Maybe at some point, Secret King. Maybe next year. And I've been thinking about doing something like that as well. Creating some sort of resource, if you will, information that I can give, like something that's a little bit palatable, something that you can work through, something that you can learn from. I mean, I'm doing that with the book I'm writing right now as well, but that might be a little bit hard to digest. So, like doing something or preparing like a self-love seminar, for example, you'll have to create slideshows or a little bit more concentration of information. It is something I'm considering. That could be such an amazing experience for Ledado. I hope that he take a lot away from the microdose when he does try it. I look forward to it. I do look forward to it, Jovan. I think the biggest problem is going to be just getting him to keep taking it. I see him taking it like twice and then discontinuing because he's gotten the benefits. I see that happening as well. He has had experiences with me, that wasn't microdoses, and it did a lot for him and me, especially like just being able to communicate and be open with one another. But he's so scared, and he doesn't, with a fire in his heart, doesn't want to admit that he's scared. Like he's like really adamant about why do I need to experience more of that? Why do I need to experience it? Like the most he's tried was like a gram of psilocybin, and like that is the most that he's tried, and he's had experiences from that. But the fact that he believes that he now understands the experience, it's kind of laughable. Or maybe he doesn't understand and he's scared of understanding even less. I just wish people, not just my parents, just people in general, were more open just to looking up some information for themselves, going and doing some research, looking at the data that we do have, and then being open with their own consciousnesses. Like my dad and me had a fight after my like day and a half of silence, basically. And the fight was about, oh, you probably saw someone else being silent, and now you're going to try and be silent. And like I was like instantly almost offended because it was something I was talking about on stream, and something that I would want to do because of the novelty that would induce. And then he's like fighting with me about me being quiet, and I'm like, do you know what novelty does to the brain? And it's like, novelty means when something is different. I'm like, yeah. So have you, Dad, ever spent a day being quiet ever in your life? No. Why would I want to? I'm like, but that's the point. You've never done this thing in your entire existence. And just because of your like attachment to what it is you think you know, of what it is you think you've experienced, of how much it is you think you've learned, and how much you think you're supposed to still learn, to try and like cut yourself off from new things completely. Be it being quiet, be it fasting, be it trying a psychedelic, for example. And my dad is scared of all of these things. Like it's hard to watch sometimes. It just it bothers me to see people limiting themselves. Dum dum. Will you be doing it with him for his first time? I did, Edmund. We actually both like I had a little banky that was 2 grams, and in this 2 gram banky there was a little bit of a bigger mushroom and a smaller mushroom, and I ate the smaller one and I gave the bigger one to him, and then we went on a hike through this like rivered area that had like a bunch of overgrowing trees, and there were a bunch of mushrooms growing from the ground, some of them very small and orange, some of them bigger, some of them growing out of trees, some of them growing out of the ground itself. And it was just beautiful, being able to really take our time and look at things and experience things as they are. It was just such a blessed experience to have that with him. And at one point, we sat down the almost in the middle of a river, like on the rocks, water rushing underneath our feet, and we were just kind of looking at each other, having a conversation with one another. And I told him that I loved him, and he told me something about like he feels like he's had like 2 beers or 3 beers or something, because that's like his gauge of intoxication, if you will. Like he's only had alcohol basically most of his life. And I'm like, okay, if you feel that way, close your eyes. And he closes his eyes. Dogs are up to their shenanigans. And he closes his eyes for like literally 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. Like he closes his eyes, and then he does this. And I'm like, what did you see? And he starts grinning to me, and he tells me, "You're gonna say it's a mushroom." And he's like, "It was this column of energy flowing up and over, right? And then this column of energy flowing down and into." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you just saw the tree of life, not necessarily a mushroom." And he kept his eyes open for the rest of the experience. And when I asked him about that, he was like, "Yo, this outside world is more beautiful," he tells me. Like he's so scared of the fact that his own consciousness, his own divinity, his own experience is capable of producing vivid imagery like that, like genuine spiritual understanding of the nature of our reality as well, looking at the tree of life as an understanding of our existence, instead of the attachment that he's hold onto his whole life, thinking about the Christian God. And I think that's the thing that terrifies him. Like he's so scared of being confronted with information that is contrary to what he's believed his entire life, and I understand that. I can't necessarily be angry for him for that. I would fly out there in a minute, or fly you out here. Thank you so much. Maybe one day, Secret King. Like I'm not even joking, friend. Will you be doing it? I've already done. Sorry. I've been tempted to trip, but my dog is sickly lately, so not the best time. I'm sorry to hear the trigger is not feeling good. Gob. Sending trigger good vibes as well. Are there a wild psilocybin mush growing in South Africa? In some places there is, Nate. Not here, unfortunately. It's a little bit dry here for things to grow. This is the way, though. Start small, it will open endless possibilities. High creator. This is your dad opening his mind. Even if small, it is in the right direction. I hope so as well. Here, and this is this is something that I have at least come to an understanding with inside of myself. And I actually asked my dad about that. When I asked him if he'd be willing to try more, have a larger experience, because I would rather him decide and opt into a larger experience himself than me giving him a larger experience without his consent. Because in that way, I'm going to be the one that has to be emotionally and spiritually responsible for him and for the state of consciousness that he will enter. I do think it can be something that is very beneficial to him, though. Fear of the unknown or fear of having been incorrect. Fear is a powerful emotion. It's a paralyzing one, even, Jovan. And that's the thing that makes me sad. I just see the paralyzation. My dad wouldn't speak to me for a year if I even brought up psychedelics to him. I'm so sorry to hear that, Gob. You deserve better, my friend. They deserve better as well. Literally, it's a little fungus that grows out of the ground that just so happens to manufacture psilocybin, a serotonin-looking molecule with a little phosphate group on it. You eat it, your liver dissolves that phosphate group off, and it basically looks exactly with two little extra attachments. Basically, looks exactly like your own naturally produced serotonin. And the stimulation of serotonin basically increases neuronal activity, causes your brain to fire, downregulates the default mode network, kind of quiets down the perpetual voice that you're always talking to yourself with. The perpetual motion that you're in constantly breaks that loop. And it's natural. It's so clear to me that this is something that was given to us to advance our consciousness. And it's so clear to me that that is exactly why it was made illegal as well. And the fact that they're still holding on to that illegality because of, the things that they were told growing up, it frustrates me, especially living in the information age. My dad does not like weed, but doesn't ever say anything about it. He shows a lot of interest in psychedelics, though. He doesn't want to try them unless he can get them legally. Maybe you go to like Canada or something. I think you can get legal mushrooms there now. Look at those little happy poppers. I actually had to show you, Javon. They're still at it. Look at them. Shenane games. Thank you for the help for Pro, Secret King. I appreciate it, my friend. You have planted the seed. When he comes around doing more, you can know it was your seed. If you can welcome it, it is his own fault. I do hope so, Yater. Thank you, my friend. The bricks you are laying, are they good or bad? Are you building a house or a prison? Dement Dave. That's a cool question, friend. And thank you for asking that, actually. I think that is going to be the last question. I don't even think I'm building a house, my friend. Right now, I think, if anything, we're building foundation. We're building foundation right now. As we continue building and as we continue developing this space, this understanding, this feeling with one another, I think it is going to become clear. It won't even be a house, it won't even be a castle. It will be an entire city. A city made for love and for light. Zenoa, thank you for joining me again, friend. I'm sorry that I'm like about you not. I do love you, friends, though. Thank you so much. Legal psychedelics in Canada. I wish. I think so, though. Go and look up. I think mushrooms legality is pretty up there. I might be wrong, but do go look up for yourself. I enjoy listening to you so much, and I enjoy you sharing this space with me so much. Building a bridge, even better, Yater. I do like that. A bridge. Yeah, like it's it's sometimes a little bit discouraging to imagine that the work it is I want to do might not ever get done in my life. And that's why I chose to say we're building foundation at first and foremost, right? We're building the base level of what it is we believe. We show up every single day in this space to remind ourselves and to remind one another that love is real, the way that I can love you, friends, the way that you clearly show me love back. It is so blessed. illegal when dried. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, it's fresh, completely legal. Oh, look, there's water evaporating off of it. There's more water evaporating off of it. Grabs gun. Oh goodness, all of the water is gone. Get down of the ground. That's so freaking stupid. Edmund, love you. I appreciate your input. I appreciate all of you friends. Can you pan 360? I'll show you a view before I end the stream, friend. I missed the entire chat box, but I could not imagine you being too much. No, not at all. Edmund wasn't too much at all. Edmund just shared something that we don't always necessarily talk about, some of the more sensitive stuff, and I appreciate that. I know. I'll show you, friend. Oh, okay. Let's take a nice look. Oh, there we go, friends. Detroit is beautiful. I appreciate you, friends, sharing this space with me. I'll be here again tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you. Goodbye, everyone.